Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I hope you're doing super fantastic. And I just kind of keeping along the same theme of what I've been talking about recently. Um, I just want to remind you, though, that your connection to Source, your connection to higher consciousness, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is automatic. That connection that you have to the Source is it's automatic. It's grounded in you already. I mean, that's why you are a divine spark of the Creator. That's why, I mean, if you follow the Judeo Christian Bible, that's why Jesus said that my God is not here, or my Father, I suppose, is not here. My Father is in heaven. And then he further went on to say that heaven is not here, it's not there, it's not any place, it's within you. And that's pretty profound. And you don't have to be a Christian to find meaning, to find value in that. You don't. I mean, that is kind of a running theme among most major religions. That's the running theme among most of just spiritual philosophy, spiritual thought, is how the Creator, the universal consciousness, is inside of you. And you are here in this world. But we are so living in that low vibrational state is kind of unnatural for us. It's just unnatural. That's why a lot of us feel like we don't belong here. Although we do need to learn to embrace it because we have come here for a purpose. And I'm not going to get off into that again because I've talked about that. How some people think that, oh, I hate it here. I just want to go back to where I'm from or wherever. It's like, that's fine, except you didn't come here for no good reason. You came here for a reason. So find that purpose and stop seeing the negativity and start looking at, I mean, this place is beautiful. There's so much to learn. There's so much to grow from. And I just said I wasn't going to get off into that subject, and there I went, right? Anyway, loved ones, if you haven't yet, please hit the like button. I would appreciate that. And subscribe if you haven't done that too. But living in low vibrational is unnatural. And we are kind of kept even lower. Now, by we, I mean humanity as a whole. I don't mean you, dear loved one. I mean those who are not awakening. But that explains why so much effort goes into keeping humanity in that low vibrational state. That the states of anger and frustration and fear and anxiety, all of those states. And then there's also like war and famine and all of those things going on around the world. Those are very low vibe states. And those people are producing a very low vibrational energy known as loosh. I believe Bob Monroe kind of coined that phrase or word. But it explains why so much effort goes into keeping us there. Because we're kept in that low vibrational state in so many ways and for so many reasons. One of which is because there are the elites of the world, the people who are in the know, who understand the occult knowledge. And occult means it's secret knowledge. It means it's information that is kept secret. So, and they understand how all this works. And I got to believe they stay in high vibration, but to appease the gods or the archons or the dark forces over it that are kind of permeating this realm, to appease them, they then use their positions of power and influence to keep the masses low vibrational, producing that loosh. And they do it in so many ways. I mean, through the media, social media, and something I haven't really mentioned, but like the cell phone towers, I think there's something to that. I mean, I'm not really going to go there. I'm not really prepared to talk about that, but that thing I think I think there's I think there's truth in that. That's all. But humanity has been either lulled to sleep, and that it lulled to sleep so they do not awaken, so they don't connect to higher self, so they don't reestablish that natural connection to source. So they stay here, stay low vibrational, keep producing, keep producing, consuming, and obeying. So that the elites of the world can continue to live the way they live, and they can continue to appease the dark forces that enable them to live the way they live. So, but if they're not lulled to sleep, because there are those that are just angry, they look at the world and they realize how unjust things are. They realize how war and famine and just people are being kept down, and they get angry about it. But so they're like, it's like if you would just chill out, you might actually awaken. But they're the ones who are like, they feel cheated, they feel robbed, they feel all of that. And I mean, not saying they shouldn't feel that way, but they need to realize you're only perpetuating the situation by being angry and bitter and lashing out. Because the system doesn't care that you're angry at it, because you're still producing that, you're still staying low vibration and producing that loosh and staying in that cycle. So there's that. But I want to challenge you, dear loved one, to be brave enough to connect to source, to your higher self, to make a stand, to say, no, I am not going to play into this little circus wheel or whatever. I don't know, hamster wheel. That's what I was. This little hamster wheel. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to elevate my vibration. I'm going to connect to my higher self. I'm going to decalcify my pineal gland, because I understand that my pineal gland is my antenna to my higher self. That is my connection. Pineal gland is also known as your third eye. That's your connection to the outside. That's your connection to your higher self, to your source. And I'm gonna reestablish that. And then I can be a beacon of hope, I guess. I can be the light in the world to hopefully light the way for others. And as I've said, we're not going to be able to save the world. I don't believe our purpose here is to save the world. I believe our purpose here is to awaken and learn some very valuable lessons, to learn to be co-creators, manipulate the field, the quantum field. But I don't think we're here to save the world. This construct is going to be fine anyway, as it is. It resets periodically. There's evidence of that. I'm not going to get into that. That much I will promise you. I will get into that. But I'm going to challenge you to be brave enough to connect to your source and to reject the acceptance of words. When people use phrases like, oh, that's just the nature of the beast. That's just how it is. Or the one that really kind of grates at my nerves is when people say, well, if something goes wrong, they say, well, it is what it is. The way that's just the way it is. Says who? Says who that's the way it is? I mean, that might be the way it is to the people who are asleep, who are to humanity as a whole, when that single unit of consciousness is made up of billions of divine sparks that have been lulled to sleep or beaten into submission. That might be true for them. But once we have awakened to all of this and awakened to our true power, awakened to the fact that we are a divine spark of the Creator here on a mission. Once we realize that, that's when we say, that might be true for them, but it's not true for me. So that's why I say, says who? Says who that's the way it is. That might be the way it is for them, but that's not the way it is for me. So anyway, it causes people to accept inauthenticity. Inauthenticity. That's a mouthful of a word. It causes people to accept inauthenticity, and it causes people to accept mediocrity. But you come from the divine source. That's anything but mediocre. It's anything but mediocre. So why would you accept mediocre? You don't have to. You are a co-creator. So again, with my challenge, I'm going to challenge you to reject low vibrational programming, all that low vibrational programming that comes at you through the media, through social media, through entertainment, and through short form. I mean, this addicted to dopamine with these short form videos. And yes, I know I produce shorts, but hopefully they are to get a quick message out in 1 minute or less. But like the short form videos, those are by design. That is, one, it lowers our attention span. Plus, it creates it creates more addiction to that dopamine. Because it's like if you have to watch a 15 or 20 minute long video to gain some information and feel accomplished, or not necessarily feel accomplished, but feel like you have learned something. It's like, no, I want those dopamine hits every 1 minute. So I'm going to keep scrolling through these short form videos or whatever for infinity. And every time you see one that you like, bam, I hit the like button. Just a little dopamine hit. But it's addictive. It's very addictive. So I'm going to challenge you to reject that low vibrational programming that keeps you in that low vibrational state. And also to stay on guard. It's very important that you stay on guard because they are coming at us from so many different angles, from so many different sides. As I said, in so many ways and for so many reasons. They are hitting you from every angle. The purpose is to keep you distracted. The purpose is to keep you down. But once we become aware of the fact that this is going on, that's when we kind of have the key. It's like, well, now I know what's going on. And I know how it's how it's going on. Now I can do something about it. Now I can fight against it. Now I can put my foot down and say, no more. You got me this far, but no more. But keeping humanity down in that low state is necessary for the archons, or the dark forces, whatever you want to call them. It's necessary because if humanity were to ever become high vibrational and realize how powerful of co-creators we are and reestablish that connection to source, and then everything would be beautiful. If that were to ever happen, which it won't in our lifetimes, but whatever, if that were to happen, they would become so irrelevant that they would, I mean, I don't want to say they'd be completely non-existent, but they would be forgotten and they would have no power. And we would not produce that low vibrational energy that they feed on. So, yes, keeping humanity down is absolutely necessary. I'm checking my notes here, loved one. It's absolutely necessary to keep the archons relevant and in existence. And to keep producing that loosh that they seem to love so much. So anyway, dear loved one, yes, I wanted to encourage you and also to challenge you to begin being on guard, watching out for these things that are bombarding us from every side. And also to get into meditation, begin elevating your vibration and get in contact with your higher self and or source and seek guidance. What is my purpose here? What am I here to learn? What mission am I on? Let me get back to the mission. And that's what I got for you, dear loved ones. It is. So if you haven't yet, please go ahead and hit the like button. I would so appreciate that. And subscribe to this channel. That would be super duper fantastic. And share this video with someone that you think needs to hear it. And also, the typical standard rigmarole, let's make the algorithm happy or whatever, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that, right? But if I've missed anything, if there are ways that you believe that someone could, if there are ways too that there are ways that people can reconnect to a higher source and raise their vibration, put it in the comments. So anyway, dear loved one, yes, that's what I got for you. I truly do love you. I do. And I'll be back directly.